Not really. I guess I was thinking, what is box set etiquette? But usually it's like the end of a career.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like you only have a celebrity roast if you're in the Rat Pack. Why did you set yourself up a celebrity roast? Did you think that Sammy Davis Jr. would just come if you had a celebrity roast? Like he just has to go to it if it's called a celebrity roast?
Did you see the Bieber roast? It was pretty great. Justin Bieber.
Oh, really?
It's amazing. Highly recommended. Just saying.
Great. I'm never going to read all the books in my to-read list because I'm just going to be looking over the Bieber roast.
Up top. A lot of times when there's a box set, it comes with like a bonus disc of bonus tracks, or here's all the demos, every single take. You can get the new John Coltrane box set, which is every note recorded in the 5 days he was at the session, blah blah. But your box set does not have any bonus or extra material. Why?
Because I actually don't have any extra material.
Really?
Everything I record is what was recorded. There's never, I'm so weird about wasting things, and I'm not a prolific songwriter at all. There's never a extra song from a recording. It's always what is on there is what was being written for it. If there's throwaway stuff, it was thrown away in a pre-demo state. And, some things would, I don't want to say, hey, Bloodshot, I know that your compilation album has that song on it, but if I took that from that, then it would kind of take away from their thing, which I had made for them. So, there's things like that I did not want to do. I'm, not that they would have, been opposed to that, I don't think, but I just, I just wanted to represent what it was and how I work, and I wanted it to be more artwork, too. And it was more about putting the vinyl in print than not putting the vinyl in print. And I guess it's back to that rarity thing, I suppose. Not rarity so much as keeping you from having it, but more that I really don't produce extra material ever. I mean, there are people who are really, really prolific, like Carl from the New Pornographers, for example. I just can't believe how much he comes up with. But I'm one of those people who tends to write lyrics first, rather than music first, and that seems to be something I've noticed kind of makes a little difference between people who come up with music parts first. Is people are kind of, that's just been my experience. I don't know that that's true, but lyrics first usually makes you almost kind of married to an idea before you even go into the studio, really. Not that I don't like things to develop in the studio naturally, but sometimes the music comes up in the studio, but I generally I don't have like 5 versions of an idea ever. There's usually one version that may expand. Does that make sense?
Sure, yeah, of course.
I'm definitely afraid of wasting anything, is that essentially.
Okay. So it's not like you have, notebooks full of songs and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna go back and revisit this idea. No.
Don't. And I feel really weird saying that, but I also get kind of sad, when I see like another Beatles release is happening and it's gonna be a John Lennon demo. And it goes back to that question of, does that piece of art say to you what the, artist wanted to say? It's like, I don't think Kurt Cobain really wanted you to read his fucking journals, and I don't necessarily think that John Lennon wanted you to hear him not finishing all the way through a song. Like, it's cool to hear, and it is valuable, but there's something about people's privacy, even posthumously, that I think is kind of sacred. And it could ruin the experience for you or not. Like if you know too much about something, like I'm sure you've all had the experience where you think the lyrics are one thing and then later you find out they're not that thing and you're like, oh. It's kind of a bummer. But I'm also not, that's just my preference. Like I think I just look at those things differently. I've had the fortune to meet a lot of people that I really look up to in music, but some of my idols have also not been that great either. So it's like, do I want to root, like how close to the mystery of that do I want to get? Yeah, like, and how close to that do I want to get?
Yeah.
You know, or just finding out that some really great song wasn't written by the person who performed it, like kind of ruined it for me, and I don't know why, like that's not even important necessarily, but at a certain point I don't want to mess too much with what people are experiencing. I don't know, it's a really hard question to answer, but I definitely want the finished product to say what I wanted it to say, which seems kind of contradictory because I'm not a very formal person at all, and I don't have like a stage persona or anything. I'm just myself, but I guess it's about just, I really don't know. the short answer is I really don't know, but it's complicated.
The beauty of art is there's an explanation for everything, right?
Yeah.
What it means. So when you set out to write a song or a record, you're just starting cold, flat from, you're not, you finish a record, you're done, it's time for the next one, done, like that.
Yeah, I may have some lyrics or something that were written during the last one. And I can often kind of hear that continuation when I listen to it later. But usually it's from scratch, usually starting with lyrics or an idea or something that just won't leave me alone.
And then the music and then the studio.
And I can write songs by myself, but I generally don't like to. When I started playing in bands when I was about 17, it was to be with other people. I really wanted to make a connection with other human beings, and so I find that writing songs by myself makes me feel a little nuts, and it takes a lot longer. Because you don't
the music, because the lyrics you do by yourself.
Yeah, the lyrics are one thing, but the actual playing of the music and the melodies that should go under it. So I co-write with people a lot because I like that connection with another person. And there's something about hearing something that you just came up with played by someone else that makes it really much easier to add on the next layer to it, which is kind of liberating. It's like having a Roomba, I guess. Like, yeah, it's going to get vacuumed, whether I vacuum it or not. I'm free to dust right now. The song is clean.
Now, how does the process work for the new pornographers? Do you do any of the writing for that?
No, Carl and Dan write the songs, and then they work up a lot of stuff with John Collins, who records a lot of it. And they'll send me a really rough demo, and Carl may have put a harmony part on that he wants done, and so I'll make sure to do that part, but then also I'll make up some parts as well. And that is intensely liberating because I'm singing another person's song in a way, even though it's my song a little bit because I'm there performing it. I don't have that that self-conscious emotional attachment to it. In fact, I don't know that I know what more than maybe 5 new pornographer songs mean or are about. So it's like, you know how sometimes you'll hear songs that are in a foreign language that you don't know, but you love them more than any other song, and you'll sing along with them even though you don't know what you're saying, because it's just purely physical. And it becomes emotional because what you bring to it, or just what it sounds like they're feeling, and it means so much more to you in a way than if you could understand it.
Do you know what Letter from an Occupant is about? Because
no, I don't.
It's amazing, and I've always been like, what the hell is this?
Okay, I don't know if it's hard. I mean, you could ask Carl. I don't know if he knows either. I really don't. I mean, if he didn't, it wouldn't surprise me. But he's like, sounded good.
Words sound good. Yeah, no, that's cool. That's totally cool. Do you play music every day? Do you sing every day? Or are you someone who, when you're not recording or touring, you're just like...
Sometimes I don't do anything for a couple weeks, but I think that's pretty important. I mean, there will be music on in the house, and I might sing along with that, or in the shower, but I don't necessarily remember what I was singing, per se. Mary J. Blige a lot, Power.
No more drama.
I'm still on No More Drama. Great. I've put out many records, but for some reason that's like the shower staple right
No
there.
iteration, yeah, totally.
If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Totally, I hear that. So I wanted to talk a bit about your relationship with Chicago. You lived here for a period, you moved here in 99, right?
Yes.
And then you were here until when?
I was here until early 2003.
Okay, nice. So, you said, I think it's maybe in the letter notes to the box set, that it was while you were living in Chicago that you realized that you were a musician as a career, that you quit your jobs and became, what was that process like? What were the jobs that you quit?
I worked at the Hideout as a bartender.
Yeah,
Which was awesome. Yeah. I actually think I went to more employee meetings than I ever did shifts, which is quite hilarious. And I worked at an animation company that animated TV commercials. So I would do lots of pencil testing and draw shadows for the Trix Rabbit.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
It was really fun, and the staff there were really friendly and creative, and they were really very kind to me as far as, oh, you gotta go on tour? Sure, you'll have a job when you get back, no problem.
That's awesome.
As were the Hideout, of course. In fact, like I said, I hardly ever managed to actually work there because I was always playing, but
Was it Calabash?
it was Calabash, yes. They were fantastic. And I didn't have time to go to work anymore, essentially. And it was when I had to claim myself as a musician on my taxes as to not go to jail for, not declaring your taxes, then that's when I was like, well, I guess I gotta call myself that now. I felt like a bit of a fraud, but, I wasn't. But there's something about music, I think, when I was growing up that was very sacred to my family, but in the world of 80s grade school and, just kind of the realm of what was going on in our country at that time, it was Reagan era. Music and art were being cut from schools really hard. It was pretty much touted that being a musician was kind of a pipe dream, unless
MTV, spandex,
Yeah, and that came along to kind of satisfy that obsession that I had. But at school or in the realm of what you're supposed to be preparing yourself for, music wasn't considered an option unless you were somebody who played a classical instrument, and that's considered music. But rock and roll and anything else was not. At that, if you just were aspiring to that would have just been stupid to people, like, oh, why don't you just go live in a refrigerator box while you're at it? And that's pretty much the attitude, and probably even a little bit worse. It's like, whatever derogatory thing I could think of to say was said, so, and, then there was the fact that I didn't really think much of myself. So I guess I just wouldn't have thought that was an attainable goal at all.
So then when the goal did become attained,